Hey guys, Booker 2021. It's time to announce my predictions for the winner. Who's going to take the lead role in the 6 books that made the shortlist? So let's talk about it. There's 6 books. I read 4 of the 6 that are shortlisted. That was Great Circle. No one is talking about this. The Promise, Bewilderment, The Fortune Men, and last but not least, A Passage North. I didn't read A Passage North or The Fortune Men. I did read in this order Great Circle, no one is talking about this, The Promise, and Bewilderment. And I thoroughly enjoyed all 4 of those books. They're different books. They are exploring different themes. They're written in different styles. The list of authors is a diverse list of authors. It was a good Booker season. I think better than last year, 2020. First, let's go through a couple of different synopses and what I thought about these books. Great Circle, very plot-centric, very character-driven. We're dealing with a long book, but didn't feel long. You could read it very quickly because it hooks you, it draws you in. Maggie Shipstead does a beautiful job of giving us these 2 timelines with these 2 different characters and their journeys and weaving them together to kind of show us the continuity of life, but also the way reality and truth gets distorted as time goes on and your story actually begins to change. So that's Great Circle. Number 2, no one is talking about this, an experimental novel by Patricia Lockwood. And it's written in stanzagraphs. There's 2 parts to the book. And it comes out with a bang, and it maintains that banging status the entire way through. But it's a special novel dealing with the themes of the social impact of the internet on us, on our culture, on our structures of humor, and the way we relate with one another. How does the social impact of the internet affect the way we experience real life? Great novel, short, quick, but packing such a punch. It's wonderful. Number 3, The Promise, written by Damon Galgut, a white South African. Great book, wonderful prose, and what he does throughout this story of this family in South Africa is he seamlessly and powerfully weaves in and out of different perspectives in a way that elevates the storytelling from just a traditional novel to something that speaks with poignancy, speaks with urgency, and deals with multiple different themes even at the same time, layered on top of each other, interwoven within one another. And his character development and exploration of human psychology is fantastic. He does a great job in The Promise. No one was surprised this made the shortlist. Number 4 is Bewilderment by the Pulitzer Prize-winning author Richard Powers, who's also been shortlisted previously on the Booker Prize. But Richard Powers, an American author, this story dealing with this macro of life on Earth, space exploration, are we alone, exploring neurological feedback therapy, and exploring this theme of climate crisis, and that's the macro, but then at the exact same time there's the underbelly of the story and the micro honing in on a father-son story, tragedy and grief and the loss of a loved one, and dealing with the complicated and difficult dynamics of a son on the spectrum living in just modern living. And Richard Powers explores all of this, weaves it all together, and shoehorns in throughout the book these images of these worlds that he creates as imaginary possibilities of what other planets might be like, and their makeup and their environments and their climates and their ecosystems and the possibilities of life elsewhere. Incredible story. Beautifully written. I would say very polarizing. And the other one that was very polarizing is No One Is Talking About This. It's a love it or hate it book. I think that's the same with Bewilderment. Love it or hate it. The Fortune Men, I don't know much about. I never was able to get a hold of a copy, so I couldn't even attempt to read it. And then A Passage North, I did read 30 pages, 40 pages of it, and the writing was really not clicking with me, so I forwent that one, if that's a term. So here's my predictions, and here's my desires. I would be very happy to see any of those 4 that I've read win. Really, I would be happy to see any of those 4 win. I think I think that I would really be excited to see Bewilderment win, or No One Is Talking About This. And I just was moved by those books the most. Great Circle is a beautifully written story. It's good, but I wanted it to be more thematic. I wanted it to be not just a good story and not just these surface themes. I think she is exploring something bigger, but I didn't feel that was as meaty as just the story. The story is wonderful and good. Felt like the present day timelines were weaker than the past timelines, but still a great story. No One Is Talking About This. The first 10 pages, I was smashed by it. I was being just hit. Buttons were being touched within me that haven't really been touched by a book before. It was something really special. I laughed out loud multiple times reading that book. I felt the urgency and the direness of the theme that she's exploring, the social impact of the internet. I really felt that she captured and distilled that in a way that was very, very powerful and needed and fresh. And I think she juxtaposes the impact of the social nature of the internet with real life in such a way that you can't walk away accepting their coexistence. And so I think for me, No One Is Talking About This is the book that I want to win, and I actually think will win the prize. So I'm putting all my eggs in Patricia Lockwood's basket, and I think that she will win the Booker Prize. It'll be interesting because it's such a polarizing book. Understandably, when I read it, I could absolutely see right away it was going to be polarizing. That was not a surprise. So it's going to be interesting. Did all the judges just love it and that's why it made the shortlist? Or was it pushed through the shortlist by the ones that did love it in spite of the ones that didn't? We'll see. We'll find out. But I will say that No One Is Talking About This is something rare that I'm happy I read it. I almost didn't read it because I figured there's no way anybody's going to deal with this subject matter well, and so it's not really worth my time. But I was convinced because it was such a quick read to jump in and read it, and I'm very happy I did, and I'm going to read it again. I recommend going and getting it. But we'll see what happens November 3rd, so stay tuned. I'll have a reaction video, I'm sure, that I'll record. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I'll have some more videos coming out soon. I appreciate everybody, and thank you.